And he's an award-winning British comedian who created a magazine that celebrates Atlantic Canada. It's called Edit, and you can get the winter edition now. James Mullinger joining us on Canada Now. James, it's always a pleasure, man. It's good to see you again.
Likewise, Jeff. I genuinely, hugely look forward to our catch-ups. It's just always a joy to hear your voice and to feel your warmth, my friend.
Likewise. I always look forward to it, and I always look forward to Edit magazine. I mean, it's I know all the work that goes into it. Well, I kind of know, and I get all the work that goes into it. But man, I wish it wasn't just a quarterly. I wish it was out more often because you guys do such a bang-up job with this. And this winter edition, I mean, there are so many things to look at. But we should start with you're spending a day with Chief Patricia Bernard at her camp in Baker Brook, New Brunswick. And I got to hats off to your photographer as well, because the photographer did a great job in capturing just the feel of the place, too.
That's so nice. I must name him Mathieu Sauvignon. Shout out to him. And again, as you rightly say, it's, a lot of people don't fully realize that, while the words are important, the visuals are equally and in many ways more important, because they're the things that A, draw people in, B, stick in your brain, but also make people read the words. Yeah, so, hats off to all visual journalists out there.
Absolutely. What was it like to go out and visit Chief Patricia Bernard? And to be there, it was just, it looks like such a beautiful place.
It really is. I mean, it's as kind of gorgeously stunning as it looks in the pictures. And in many ways, it was almost kind of, hard to capture the beauty, because it is kind of all encompassing. It's all around, and you're kind of standing there. Yeah. I mean, it was freezing cold. We were there in the throes of winter. I'm there in my kind of light linen suit.
Yes, you got a nice suit on and everything, but you don't have a toque on, man. Not to be your mother or anything, but you're not wearing a toque. You don't have gloves. What are you doing out there?
I'm an absolute madman. What can I tell you? I'm trying to prove that I'm a true maritimer. I mean, it's been here 10 years. My third year living here, I chose to spend most of January touring Manitoba. That's how much I'm trying to prove. And then when I go to Madawaska First Nation to interview Chief Patricia Bernard in the throes of winter, in the coldest day in New Brunswick history, which makes it the coldest day in world history, I'm there without a toque and gloves. You're right. My mum would not be impressed.
No.
But to be honest, I probably was a bit warm. I take the clothes off for the pictures.
Okay, all right. Breaking the fourth wall, I appreciate that. But it looks like a beautiful place, and boy, like you guys are standing in front of this outdoor fireplace that's got it's like one big thing that's got 3 fireplaces in it. This thing's incredible.
I mean, the place is incredible, and of course, I mean, crucially, I mean, she's incredible. I mean, there's really pretty much, it's one of those overused phrases, but there's really been no one like her. I mean, the fact that she spent 23 years fighting for and ultimately successfully securing a historic $145 million land claim settlement for her community, which can you imagine in 23 years? This is a thing that had never been done before, and it had been attempted, not least by her grandfather many years ago, and indeed many Indigenous peoples for decades, if not longer. But to fight for a thing for 23 years, and the amount of times that she must have, felt so knocked down and so knocked back, and then to suddenly one day discover that she had secured this and is has continued to do that amazing work. She's a unique and a trailblazer, and it's what it's like. You meet so many amazing people. It's just one of those things that's so almost daunting being in the company of such greatness, especially because, like a lot of great people, she is incredibly humble. And really just fun to be with. I think I was going, because she is such a kind of an icon in this country. I definitely felt like I was kind of, I felt nervous, if I'm honest, going in there to meet her. Yeah. But she completely kind of put me at ease within seconds, and we were just having a laugh. And again, she's fun people do great things too.
Well, I'm glad that piece is in there, and I'm glad you had that opportunity. And you've got so many gifted people that are working on the magazine, including award-winning author Mark Anthony Jarman, who visited Liverpool, Nova Scotia to experience, and this is cool, one of the most spectacular concrete structure exhibitions in the world in a garden center.
in the back of a garden centre as well, like in
Yeah.
Liverpool, Nova Scotia. And this is something which I had visited, because this is one of a place in Nova Scotia that I fell in love with many times on the South Shore, where there's a resort there called the Quarterdeck, which has been there for many years, but has recently been refurbished. Has fantastic kind of Fogo Island-esque architecture. And my family and I started going there about 5 6 years ago. And the amazing thing was we would meet families where the kids were like in their late teens, and they would say they had been going there since they were kind of three with their parents, and it's become this annual tradition. So we would go and explore this area. And the great thing about being in a place like this is that, there isn't a humongous list of tourist spots to go. In specifically in this place, there's the Hank Snow Museum, which is a museum obviously devoted to the amazing country singer Hank Snow.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned this garden centre, which again is not hugely promoted as such. And we went there and were absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
So then, shortly afterwards, Mark Jarman, who is, as you know, like an award-winning writer, kind of, nationally respected, globally respected. His last book, I have over there, "Touch Anywhere to Begin," is one of my favorite books the last few years. And he got in touch saying that he had just discovered it and could he write about it? And I'm like, yes,
Yes.
that's one of those things that I live for with the magazine, is having, I've been to this. I mean, when we started it, everyone said to us, "Oh, you're covering, news stories in Atlantic Canada. You're going to run out of things." And of course, almost 30 issues in, we definitely still haven't run out. And if anything, to your point, we could easily put out a whole magazine each week if only someone would
Yeah.
give us the budget and the team
Yeah, of course.
to do so.
Yeah.
And I try and limit how much I write myself. So, even though I'd been to this great sculpture garden a few years ago, had never written about it. But when one of the world's best travel writers gets in touch, offering to write about it, or pitches it as an idea to be commissioned, we jumped on it. And yeah, it's really exciting to have that in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, it's great. And another thing that really stood out to me, and there's a lot of things, but you have Caitlin Dean, who visits the makers of the best symbols in the world, used by everyone from like Phil Collins to Rush. By the way, Rush mentioned Alex Lifeson of Rush is going to join us at the top of the hour. But this is near Woodstock, New Brunswick. I mean, that. Like I think about like Caitlin there, and I go, what a great assignment. If that was Caitlin's idea or not, that was a great assignment.
Totally her idea. Caitlin, an amazing journalist. Again, I mean, one of the things about the magazine is it's this family whereby we forge connections. You know how you and I first met, and how we've worked together in so many different ways. And
Yeah.
in Caitlin's case, we met 10 years ago when I first moved here. She worked for the newspaper of New Brunswick, the Telegraph Journal, and she interviewed me about a show I was doing shortly after coming here. We stayed in touch. She now does stand-up comedy. She has worked in various other fields as well, and she and I, which were co-emceeing an event called the Dooryard Arts Festival in Woodstock, which it turned out that she co-founded many years ago and was one of the launch team of. I mean, again, there's so many like tentacles and webs
Wow.
to this creative arts community within Canada. Anyway, long story short, while we're at this gig, I did a big show at the McCain Theatre in Woodstock for the festival, and then she and I are emceeing this thing, and she mentions how Sabian symbols are made like down the road, and I'm like, what? Like, I mean, I've been Genesis fan all my life. Actually went to school with Tony Banks from Genesis' son, and we've all seen the Sabian logo everywhere, right, over the years. I mean,
Yeah.
anytime you look at any great drummer, you see them, and to learn that they're being made and have always been made in a tiny town in New Brunswick is mind blowing and mind boggling, but also surprising, I think, for most people. But to me, what's incredible is after 10 years of living here, 7 years of publishing a magazine here, how is it that I didn't know that already? And this
Yeah.
is the thing that keeps coming up time and time again, is I learn something and I'll be like, okay, how did I not know that was from here or was launched? I just learned something an hour ago, which is that Shirley MacLaine's mum is from Nova Scotia.
Oh,
Did
really?
not know that. They just keep coming. So yeah, and so it's amazing with someone like Caitlin, who 10 years. I think when I lived in London, I might get interviewed by someone, and then maybe we would follow each other on Twitter, but that would be it. And yet, here in Canada, once you meet someone and you get on, the fact that we met for that one interview 10 years ago, and now years later,
That's
And
great.
again, I mean, I don't think I haven't helped her with stand up. I mean, she's taken that path all by herself.
Yeah.
But now watching her on stage storming it is a wonderful and beautiful
Oh,
thing.
that's amazing. You got a good group there, and we're glossing over the cover story, by the way, which is the most exciting new spot in Canada, Oceanstone Seaside Resorts, new hydrothermal experience. It's near Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. So being a big deal with this magazine, are you afforded the opportunity to go, well, if it's going to be a cover story, I really need to go and check that place out?
Well, good point. Good point. I mean, I guess the best I can say is that my wife is the CEO and CFO and publishing director. So yes, it's definitely easier to get budgets like that signed off by the boss when they are your wife and get to come with you. And yeah, and of course it is legitimately a tax deductible expense. So win-win. And that's a place that I've been with my family before and loved, and it's a staple of Nova Scotia holidays.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's fair to say, I don't think I'm being disrespectful to say that after a few decades of being open, some of it was looking a bit tired, and indeed, it was taken over by an incredible entrepreneur who'd worked for many years in different businesses by the name of Dean Leyland, who again I became friendly with. First met at a show I was doing in Chester a few years ago. He told us about his plans for Oceanstone, and I mean has delivered, with aplomb. It's like he had a plan. He looked at the Fogo Island Inn model and said, okay, so I have this beautiful resort which is on the ocean. It's on the beach. Like, you stay in these cottages, and so literally you walk out of your cottage and your feet are in the sand. You can build a bonfire. I mean, it's the perfect spot for any type of vacation. But he was like, okay, I've got Maritimers coming. How do I create a world-class destination that will bring people from all over the world? And realized that hydrothermal spas were all the rage. Knew that he had to do it to the nth degree, because again, he's not competing locally, he's competing globally. And when we stayed there last year, shortly after it opened, sitting in the breakfast room, hearing like British accents, French accents, someone from Washington was talking to someone from Portugal.
Wow.
And I just thought, this is incredible. A man with a vision, who, again said, build it and they will come. Invest in this thing. And again, what the fascinating thing is that, unlike in a lot of other parts of the world where you have a big development like this, or a beautiful resort like this, locally, of course, Peggy's Cove is famously a very, very big tourist spot. But crucially, there's so many other wonderful things to do around there, that all these the knock-on effect for tourism across the region is incredible. And so little cafes and bike rental places all get to benefit from this development and this incredible new opening.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it was really exciting.
I love that. You have a vision and you carry it out. Get the winter edition of Edit. You won't be sorry. Trust me, it's always wonderful. So get the winter edition of Edit and check out maritimeedit.com. Very quickly, because we've only got about a minute, not even, James, but on stage, I think you're performing your first show of 2024 tonight as part of your greatest hits tour. You're coming by me, Richmond Hill, which is just north of Toronto, in February 2nd and 3rd for 3 shows.
That's it. Cannot wait. Being 3 shows there: Joker's Comedy Club and Theatre, one of the most beautiful clubs in the Big Smoke. And it's my greatest hits tour. 20 years as a comedian, bringing all my best jokes. I'm sifting through pages and pages, 15 hours of material, whittling it down to a solid 100 minutes. And I mean, if it's not a good show, then it means I may as well give up comedy, because if you can't get a decent 100 minutes out of 15 hours, then you shouldn't be doing comedy.
No. It's going to be a blast. Check out jamesmullinger.com. James, it's always a pleasure, my friend. I appreciate your doing this. Thank you. We'll talk again, all right?
No, thank you, Jeff. Can't wait to see you in a few weeks, my friend.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you. There is James Mullinger.